Hey guys, Scott here. Today I want to talk about 3 gens and why they have not really gotten any better despite a lot of adjustments in the game addressing 3 gens. Now, there has been a roadmap to address 3 gens, and it seems like there's going to be more of an actual gameplay mechanic that now affects 3 gens and makes it a less prevalent thing. But right now, you would think there would be less 3 gens because Call of Brine, Eruption, Overcharge, all the main slowdowns that were used to control those 3 gens were pretty much either nerfed or just basically deleted entirely. So we're in a scenario where we should not really be having that many 3 gens anymore, and yet we still absolutely do. And I've noticed since the new Macmillan and Autohaven maps and the new farm maps as well, ever since we've got those variants, like, how there's 2 coal towers, there's 2 ironworks, there's 2 suffocation pits, things like that. Ever since we got that patch where there's now multiple versions of these, on those maps in particular and on other maps, I have noticed generators are spawning with almost no regard to how close they are to other generators. And this brings me to the main way you fix 3 gens. It's not by band-aiding other things on top of it. It's not by nerfing the perks that affect it. It's not, whatever they're planning to do, which is likely some weird mechanic or another generator pops up or anything like that. It's just the map generation that seems especially screwed up right now. There are really, probably the worst 3 gens I've ever seen, and I've noticed them way more last patch and this patch than any other time playing Dead by Daylight. You will have generators, no joke, 8 meters from each other in a triangle to where you can sit in the middle of those 3 generators, and it's like one Demogorgon lunge distance away or one Chucky slice and dice distance away. And that rarely did happen before, but it seems so much worse now. It almost seems like the new maps that they added, the new variants, there's just no, proximity indicator for how close generators can spawn. And that's the real reason that 3 gens happen. You can't 3 gen generators that are spread out. I don't care how many slowdown perks you have. You just can't do it. 3 gens only happen because they're right next to each other. So if we don't address that core issue with the game, no amount of band-aid or whatever they put on there is really going to fix it, because killers will still go out of their way to try to set that up at the start, because as annoying and obnoxious that it is, you can't deny that it is very strong if you're trying to win the game. So how do we really address that? Well, it's just the map generation, like I said. I don't think behavior should go through any weird supplementary mechanic. They have no doubt that they're going to try. It just needs to be map gens. Now, there's an interesting discussion there too, though, because as maps get smaller and smaller, the prevalence of 3 gens goes up and up. And if you've noticed, there's been a trend recently where they have been shrinking some of the biggest maps. And good, by the way. That's a good change. Like Mother's Dwelling, even Crotus Brent Asylum, which hasn't been touched yet. But there's a lot of big maps that are starting to be shrunk down now, which is great, because it means killers that don't have map control can compete with killers that do have map control, and it shortens that gap a bit. Obviously, killers like Blight will still get around faster, but it'll be less painful for a Huntress or a Chucky or someone to get from one side of the map to the other. And I always think maps should be smaller than Mother's Dwelling at the bare minimum. That shit is way too big. So that's good, but it does have that unnecessary side effect of making it so 3 gens are going to be more common. And how do you fix that? There's only so much you can do if you have a small space. And the way you do it is you put generators on more of the outskirts of the map. Kind of like if you've noticed on Pale Rose and Grim Pantry, sometimes you'll have generators actually straight up in the very corner of the map. And I think that's more along the lines that they have to do. There needs to be 2 gens in the middle, and then 4 generators just placed on the outskirts of the map. That way, there's not really a way you can do a 3 gen anymore. That's probably the best way to do it, in my opinion. Other than that, I am curious to see what behavior is going to do. I just wanted to discuss this because I have noticed it gotten way worse since the past couple of patches. Generators are spawning way too close together, and it's an absolute nightmare as Survivor, and it's free wins as Killer if you do decide to be a bit sweaty and defend that 3 gen only. So I do think that they should look at moving the generators out more, and I think that will fix a lot of these issues without needing a classic behavior band-aid. So I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Thanks for watching.